talk about us for a minute so you have a little more context. I don't know if anybody, I mean, now you can Google somebody and find out just about everything about them and listen to them in a matter of a few minutes instead of discovering old records in a music store or something like that, the way we used to do it. But just briefly for history, this young man joined Howlin' Wolf's band in the 1950s, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But in the 50s and 60s and into the mid-70s, when Wolf passed, he was in his band about 25 years and is on a lot of Wolf's most famous records. And we all love Howlin' Wolf for his power and his great voice and his harmonica playing. He was just a presence, a force of nature. But everybody that listens to it, especially musicians, are going to say, who is that guitar player? Because this is one of the most creative and original players that there ever was. A lot of people that are more famous than him, you mention their names to put him in context. Stevie Vaughan and Eric Clapton, people like that, all learned from Hubert, used his licks on their records, and later became good friends with him as soon as they could. And they sat there and looked at him just the way you are now. Mr. Hubert Sumlin, one of the all-time greats. And that's the good news. The bad news is you're all going to watch him play to see how that magic happens, and you'll look at his hands dancing all over the guitar, and you'll hear one little note here or there, and it'll be one that'll break your heart, but you won't be able to figure out how he did it. I've heard a lot of people that are influenced and inspired by him, but I've never heard anybody sound like him for more than one note at a time. Right, Derek?
I'm here to tell you.
Derek O'Brien.
When you say blues guitar in Austin, along with all the usual suspects, that's the man there. He's worked with everybody on the stage. He'll be down at Antone's tonight to play with W.C. Clark, and we'll be there to watch him. Derek O'Brien. If you don't know what a resource you have right here in town, and sometimes you can actually watch him and tell what he's playing. Ooh, scary. But don't get used to it. You can't see what he's doing with the bridge and stuff like that. My name is Steady Rollin' Bob Margolin. I won't get used to it. Nobody ever does when I'm on a bandstand, nobody ever does what I said. I'm a natural not band leader, I guess. If I say, okay, you solo right now, nothing. But thank you. I first came to this town with Muddy Waters actually before Antone's started up. I think it was about 3 or 4 months after I joined Muddy's band in 1973, and around December. I think the club was called Castle Creek or something like that. Is that the one? And we met this fine singer from around here named Angela Straley, and she took me and the late great Hollywood Fats around to meet some of the local musicians, and I believe I met you back then.
Definitely.
That's a long time ago. We look exactly the same, too, don't we? Not as pretty as him. But then I didn't get back to Austin again until 1975 when they opened up the original Antone's nightclub, and Clifford Antone loved deep blues music, and he would book the legends that were still around in 1975, which was most of them, into the club for 5 days at a time. So we'd get to be really, really good friends with the local musicians. The very first time that Muddy played at Antone's, the Fabulous Thunderbirds with Luann Barton singing with them at the time opened up for us. And I had told Jerry Portnoy, the harmonica player in Muddy's band, I said, you know, most of the bands that open up for us really suck. I don't know why. There's people that are trying to play blues and they get on a show with Muddy Waters and they usually don't sound very good. But sooner or later, I mean, there's so many people learning to play well now of all ages and races and from all different places, that sooner or later we're going to see somebody that is going to just knock us out. So when we set up at Antone's to play and went back to our hotel, and Muddy's band was middle-aged and older guys. They'd seen it all, they'd done it all, and they never came out to see the opening act. They would like show up 15 minutes before showtime, do the set and leave. If they were opening for somebody else, they'd leave right after they were finished. But I was, I guess about 25, 26 years old. I wanted to do everything I could do and see everything I could see. And I said, hey, Jerry, come on down. Let's go down to Antone's early and see the opening band. I don't know. I'd like to say I had a feeling, but I didn't. I didn't know them. I didn't know who was going to be playing. But within the first few minutes, when I heard Kim Wilson blowing the harmonica and Jimmy Vaughn playing the guitar, I said, Jerry, that's what I was talking about. Listen to these guys. Wow, what a sound. And right there was the Austin sound that is so famous. And to see it right at the beginning of it, or at least the beginning of its fame, the beginning of them getting to be known by other musicians, because all the legendary musicians were coming into town and these people would be on the show with them. It was just an amazing opportunity to see these young people playing. And so I sat there and I watched them real close. We alternated sets. They would do a set, Muddy would do one, they did a set, and we'd do one at the end of the night. I was sitting there on the second set, just watching Jimmy Vaughn play, and I know you're all real familiar with his playing, and I heard he gave a wonderful performance over here recently. And we've seen him a lot recently, too, on festivals together, and he is still just sounding wonderful, a great original guitar player. But, well, I was sitting there watching Jimmy and really enjoying. This drunk kid came up to me, and he said, my brother kicked your ass. And I guess you know who that was. And he apologized to me every time he saw me after that, till the very last time I saw him. Oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. I said, no, I love his playing more than anybody, but maybe you. So that's behind all that, I really love this city and the music that has come out of here. We, however, he used to work with Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters. I worked in Muddy Waters' band. If you ask yourself, what kind of music is that? That's South Side Chicago blues. Look, he did it again. I tell you what, why don't we play a little bit in that style, but I'm going to tell you some things to look out for. Nothing's planned. I don't know what we're going to play, how we're going to start it, or anything, but it's all going to be improvised in the moment. Is there something